Meowscarada is one of the mascot Pokemon from Paldea Evolved, and got an EX card in the new set. With the Bouquet Magic ability, let us discarding a Grass Energy from our hands and putting 3 damage counters on one of our opponent's bench Pokemon, and the Scratching Nails attack for 2 colorless does 100, and then 120 more if our opponent already has damage on their active Pokemon. It has 310 HP, so a fairly bulky Stage 2 Pokemon, and has a 2 retreat cost. So this ability is obviously very strong at picking off our opponent's weak evolving bench Pokemon, especially if we can get like multiple Meowscaradas stacked up and like start knocking out our opponent's Pokemon fairly quickly. Unfortunately, the drawback to this is Meowscarada is a Stage 2, so by the time we get Meowscarada set up, our opponent likely will have a lot of their Pokemon evolved already. So today I'm going to be showing you my 3 favorite ways to play Meowscarada right now, of course with demo deck lists. And first up is my quad Meowscarada deck. This is just very straightforward. We're playing a 4-2-4 line of Meowscarada, playing 1 Squawkabilly, 1 Radiant Alakazam, and 1 Medicham, and that's it for the Pokemon. We're just trying to use Meowscarada as our main attacker here with that Scratching Nails attack, doing solid damage. We can use those combo with the Bouquet Magic to hopefully take some take some cheeky bench prizes or set up knockouts that way. Radiant Alakazam is great because we can snipe something on the bench and then move those damage counters to the active. And then Medicham is pretty cool because like Comfey, Ralt have 70 HP, so with 2 Bouquet Magic, it'll be short of knocking it out. With a Medicham, we can knock it out with a Yoga Loop and take an extra turn. And after that, I'm just playing pretty much max consistency with 4 Battle VIP Pass, 4 Ultra Balls, 2 Level Balls, and 2 Nest Balls, just trying to make sure I set up as efficiently as possible in the very first turn. And we have Arven, which can fish out Rare Candy in this deck, and also can find Rocky Helmet. I'm not sure how great Rocky Helmet is, honestly. Like, it does help us set up some nicer numbers on our opponent. It forces them to put damage on their active Pokemon. Of course, I wish this deck could use like Forest Sealson or something, but not the most practical card to play. But Arven is just great to find Rare Candies without having us discard our cards. But I am playing Research, and Research is a bit anti-synergistic sometimes because we have to discard our Retrievals or our Rods or our Rare Candies trying to set up. But I want to make sure I'm as fast as possible. I just want to see as many cards and set up hopefully as fast as possible. So the big drawback to this deck I can see is we don't have a great way to come back in games where like our Meowscarada can go one-shot. So decks like Chin-Pao or Gardevoir that can fairly easily reach 310 damage, also fairly quickly, it's going to be pretty hard for us to come back in those games. Only doing 220 max per turn, we pretty much have to have some pretty crazy multi-prize turns with the Bouquet Magic plus Yoga Loop. So this, I would say, is a more straightforward approach, but I am a bit concerned that against one-shot decks, this will just be simply too inadequate. My second build of Meowscarada is a Lost Zone one, and this fit is pretty natural because Sableye, of course, loves to spread damage around, and Meowscarada can help it hit some bigger numbers, take potentially more multi-prize knockouts. So we're going to have our full Lost Zone backbone with 4 Comfey, 4 Chorus, 2 Sableye, 2 Cramorant. And then we have 4 Battle VIP Pass, 2 Nest Ball, 2 Ultra Balls to ensure that we set up, as well as 2 Artisans for our stadium, which also can help us find our Comfeys, find our Sprigatitos early on in the game. I'm playing 2 Energy Retrieval, 2 Klara, and 1 Super Rod to recover energies. This might be too low considering I'm only playing 4 Grass Energies as well. It's just hard to fit everything in this Lost Zone deck without being like super inconsistent. Like we have to have switching cards for our Comfeys. We have to have plenty of ball search to make sure we set up. So that's the biggest concern I have with this deck is Lost Zone decks can be sort of clunky already, but we're like also throwing in 3 Rare Candies, 3 Meowscarada. So definitely, I have not tested this deck myself, so it could be a bit on the inconsistent side. Radiant Greninja should help out in the early game, but I just really do not know how consistent we are going to be. But I would say if you can set up and get multiple Meowscaradas going, and just like start using those Lost Mines and like taking big knockouts, that just seems pretty nice. And we also have that late game Meowscarada as an attacker. We can use that Scratching Nails, combine it with like a Roxanne or something. So we do have a higher damage baseline than just like Spit or Sableye. So I definitely can see this deck having some potential. I really don't know. It could be an inconsistent pile that sort of works when it sets up, but doesn't work that often because it doesn't set up very often. But I would say Lost Zone is definitely a very intriguing partner for Meowscarada. And now my personal favorite of all these builds. This is a Meowscarada Arceus deck. Arceus, of course, is a great attacker with that Trinity Nova being very low maintenance and also a solid damage for the 180 damage. But mainly Starburst can help us set up. We have plenty of ball search with Artisan, and a Nest Ball and Ultra Ball to make sure we set up quickly. And then we can use Arceus to find those Rare Candies. We also have a Barrel in this deck to refill our hands. So we're not actually using Arceus for the energy acceleration, more just so for Starburst we can set up. So after that first Arceus goes down, we pretty much turn into a straight Meowscarada deck after that, using Scratching Nails to take 2-shot knockouts. We also have the Medicham and Alakazam to potentially have some multi-prize turn potential. I'm playing Chorus as my dominant supporter in this build just because I don't want to be discarding those like superior energy retrievals or those rare candies. I just want to be like accumulating my hand. We also can use a barrel just to top off our hand at the end of turns. I like having bosses, a lot of boss orders in this deck just because we can weaken things with like one scratching nails, but we don't always necessarily finish them off, or we can just like gust down evolving Pokemon V, Lumineon, Squawkabilly, and one-shot them for a quick 2 prizes. I was messing around with this deck on ptcg ladder yesterday, and it actually felt pretty solid. It was definitely a bit clunky, but it had some like pretty solid matches, especially against Lost Zone Box. Definitely will struggle with some of those one-shot decks, like especially Chin Pao, and also like really tanky decks like Arceus Duraludon or Pronounced Nightmares too, just because we put a double turbo energy on our Meowscarada, but then we can't damage the Duraludon, so it's going to take us 2 energy attachments just to attack. So I would say there's no perfect way to play Meowscarada right now. Like each build has its own strengths and weaknesses. I think Meowscarada still has a ton of potential for the future. It's definitely a card to pick up a few of them, put them in your binder, and surely it will see play eventually when it gets the correct support cards. What do you think of Meowscarada? Which one of these builds is your favorite? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I post daily Pokemon TCG content, so if you enjoy this kind of content, please just like and subscribe. It's the best way to support me as a creator. Meowscarada isn't the only fun new Paldea Evolved deck. In this video here, I go over the 5 best brand new Paldea Evolved decks. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.